How are you doing? I hope you're doing fantastic today. Give me 1 second as I get situated here. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. I think we're good. Let me just check something here. All right. Welcome. How are you doing? Welcome. We're just doing, I'm just going to be here for a little bit, and if anybody happens to come on at the right time, it would be divine timing, and, take what resonates and leave the rest. You know what I mean? Kicking off with a little vibe card action here from the What's the Vibe deck here, okay? Someone feeling a little salty, perhaps, bitter, angry, they petty about something? I don't know. You tell me. I hope your night is going very well today. Let's see. Oh, what is this? Oh, so, excuse me. People may be talking about you. Maybe something, with a throat. People speaking things. Envy is what came up. Resentful, competitive, discontent, paired with saltiness. I don't know. Seems like there's a lot of lingering energies to be in mind and be aware of, okay? If you haven't already, make sure you like, follow, comment, and subscribe for more action, okay? Mystic Royal Collective. Okay. It's time for you to take a little bit of time away from these people. I feel that's what this is calling out to. Take a little vacay from these people, from these energies, from these situations that are trying to weigh you down and dim your light. I feel. Get away, relax, have fun. See that? Get away, relax, have fun. Okay. Let's go ahead and move things on towards the tarot for any further clarification here, okay? We're gonna do the Tabula Mundi tarot deck here. Keep it classic. Right on the downbeat, right there, yeah. Yeah. Welcome, everyone, welcome. Oh, yeah. Yo, hi, how you doing? Welcome. Boom. First card to come up, let's see what's going on. It says Hermit in the reverse. This is like getting away that we were talking about here. Welcome everybody in the chat, welcome. This vacay, Hermit in the reverse. Someone not taking some time to have a little R&R from the situation, so now it's become like R&R, like now kind of crazy. Three of Wands here. Normally collaboration, but in this situation being reversed, I feel it's like that's where these envious and salty energies are coming up here. You feel me? Something to keep in mind. Welcome everybody. Hello. Glad to have you here. Keyboard, Braden, Rebecca. Trying to get everybody. Justin, perfect. Awesome, y'all. Glad to have you. If you haven't already, make sure you like, follow, comment, and subscribe for more action. Oh, you see that? Dang, that was crazy. Know that. Yeah, you're starving yourself of energy. People feeding off of you. Look at that. See this 5 of Cups? There needs to be some kind of change, or you're realizing there needs to be some kind of change in the amount of energy and output you give out to other people, because you're drying yourself out. You're leaving yourself high for dry, or whatever that saying is, but take what resonates and leave the rest. Hello everyone, welcome. Yeah, so I'm taking a look at the bottom card on the tarot deck. We have the Knight of Wands here, full of fire and passion, baby, and that's where you are. You have a lot of goals and ideas, but I feel that not everybody's supportive of your ideas, hence these salty energies, but also you know that you have good ideas when people they're envious of your stuff, you feel me? The fact is that when people are envious and competitive with you, That to me is indicative of you being onto something good for yourself. You know what I mean? But, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like if you wrap yourself in the illusions of like this realm, right? I mean, all these like competitive, at least certain things could be a sense of distraction, just something to keep in mind from the grand focus. You know what I mean? These people at some point will probably realize that them trying to compete with you is competing with themselves. You know what I mean? As a collective consciousness. You know what I mean? And with supporting you, they would realize that their karma will be multiplied back to them. I'm reactivating the sage cleansing, everybody. Okay. So let's see. Let's pull from the Wolfpack Tarot deck. Go back to that wolf energy here. Kind of direct to the point. Just like say how it is. It says tarot deck. Hello, everyone. It says tarot deck, but it's really an oracle deck. And it just tells you how it is. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. You have decisions to make here in certain aspects, and I feel that could have to do with how you manage your time, as we were talking about earlier, how you conserve your energy, who you give your energy to, or allow access to your energy. That's something to keep in mind. If you intuitively feel that you need to keep certain healthy boundaries from certain people, decisions. 67 could be significant, but it says, realize the decisions you are making at this time can make or break your life. Seek good advice and you'll make the right decisions. And I can't help but to feel that you're onto something big that's going to lead to your abundance, which is the other card that showed up right here. It says right here, now that you have achieved abundance, it is time to share with those you love. Money, love, opportunity, travel, rewards could come your way. Could indicate a time of spiritual fulfillment. Number 27 on the card could be significant to you, potentially, okay? I feel right now this is definitely, I'm picking up on energies right now of someone that's kind of on the brink of something really grand, and something life-changing amongst themselves. And I feel that it is perhaps, seeing the smoke here, capnomancy just kind of sometimes just popped out at me there. I feel it's, what just came up to me looking at the smoke was finding the calm within the storm here, because I feel that perhaps you're not realizing the need for some backing away and getting away from things that are happening right now, at least to be able to get some stabilization in the mind space and diffuse some of these bitter energies around you and separate yourself from these salty and envious energies. You know what I mean? Something always to be mindful, if you don't already know this, that if you're like in the midst of trying to manifest something great or working on a project, unless you have to reveal any details, try to keep things as discreet to yourself as possible, because little do you realize that others' influence into your energy could affect your manifestations even on a subconscious level. Again, envy, sometimes it's innately within and not even on a, some people don't do this on purpose, I feel, you know what I mean? I'm dipping more into the astrology aspect, y'all, on things. I'm just kind of like doing a general reading right now, so just kind of like picking up on whatever comes up, you know what I mean? Feel free to hit me up though in any platform that supports direct message. I'm on everywhere, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. So right here, the bottom of the wolf deck here says famine, okay? It says, a time of limited opportunity, sacrifice, or change. The only solution is to conserve all resources and seek greater opportunity elsewhere. And I find something interesting, because you saw me shuffling earlier. This happens to be the card right after the decisions card. So I think right now the 67 was before, and now 68 that showed up on the bottom of the deck. I feel this is kind of tying in with that energy of kind of keeping some things to yourself at the moment, keeping a cup close to you. You see this cup here, I feel this fish here, it's kind of on its last resources with a few cups that are upright left. And this is probably what's keeping this person afloat, literally, pun intended, fish, just symbolism there, but you know what I'm saying though. So it's, to me, this right here is potentially a risky situation that one is in right now, potentially if one is not mindful of how they output their energy and who they trust to confide in when it comes to finding good advice related to this big project and this big thing that I feel this collective is working on right now. And I feel to get a little bit more clarity, we keep going back to this separating yourself from it and taking time off. Even if it sounds counterintuitive, you know what I mean? It's all about duality at the same time. So check this out. I'm not gonna read, I don't feel led to, I don't know. Let's just analyze this together, okay? If you haven't already, make sure you like, follow, comment, and subscribe. So now I'm pulling from the Cartomancy deck. We're gonna finish things off with this, okay? The Cartomancy deck here, for further clarification, okay? What I find interesting, and I'm gonna try to hold this up the best possible, okay? I literally, when I looked at, it seems like a decent amount of cards here, but I find something fascinating. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna flip it over here, okay? This is how it showed up here. Take what resonates and leave the rest, okay? 8 and 8. This right here, this heart, that's cups energy. That's that emotional realm energy, having to do with emotions and having to do with the heart space, you opening up your heart. And I feel that's specifically related to these connections that are around you that perhaps at one time you felt that you could trust, but perhaps due to something, whether it could be in the workplace or whatever the case is, there's some competitive energies and things having to do with this situation going on here that has you having to speak your truth. Now let's look at the flip side, as above, so below. Every time I see the number 8, I think that because as infinite beings that are in full embodiment and everything within the self, that's having to do with the divine spiritual and like the physical, you know what I'm saying? So now that we've exploring things in the heart realm and the heart space, now this right here is that air energy. This is here the spades, equivalent to the swords, which is having to do also with mental realm energies. A lot of these ideas and thoughts that you have going on right now that are brewing something beautiful and wonderful for your life purpose and your path right now, which also involves you having to speak a certain level of truth. Again, this air energy, mental realm energy, also speaking one's truth. So you having to have done a decent amount of that, having to separate yourself and get away from certain envious energies and people that do not have your best interest in mind. You know what I'm saying? So I do find this significant here. Now 8 and 8. Now we've analyzed this together, collective. Beautiful, beautiful. If you haven't already, again, make sure you're subscribed, okay? Like, follow, comment, and everything, you know? Now let's analyze this here. 10 is the number of completion, okay? Now we have these 2 10s that literally showed up. Look at that. Boom, boom. You see that? So these 2 10s, welcome. I love everyone. I love the interaction. Welcome everyone. So 10, you've kind of mastered being able to navigate. The term survival just came up to mind. You know what I mean? Perhaps you may be in some kind of structure, whether in your workplace or family dynamic, whatever the case is, where you've had to learn to master your words and master your perception and awareness, and having to do with psychology specifically. 10 of Wands, mastering the mind space and mastering reading people, but using it, I feel, in a morally, at least on a collective level, what's considered morally good, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Which is probably why these envious energies are coming out, because usually as one elevates one's vibration, then you have a slew of things that come your way. Sometimes you become a mirror and reflect even more through your growth, the lack of inaction on other people's parts. And then they become, one of two things could happen. They could be inspired by your growth and elevate with you, or they could be a challenging moments where you've had to exercise speaking your truth and cut some of these connections off for the sake of lack of alignments. And it's not out of any fault of your own. Sometimes the universe just has things happen to naturally like nix situations out of your life that are no longer compatible for you. Does that make sense? So, and it's having to do with you tapping into your fire big time. Look at this, baby. You see this? This wands here. Now, let's analyze clubs. Clubs is equivalent to wands in the tarot. At least, again, some people could read it differently, and that's fine. You go what works with you. But this right here, wands, is that fire. So you've not only mastered speaking your truth and speaking your fire as well, but these two are like a combo right here on getting things done, I feel, in the physical. I feel perhaps it's time to tune back into the self a little bit more and allow yourself a little bit more self-love internally and externally, treating yourself with the love and respect that you know you deserve. That if you're not giving that to yourself, now, how are you going to expect other people to give that to you? You feel me? I think I just said that to somebody earlier. If you're here on the stream, then you know who you are. I love you. You're beautiful, everybody, collective. So we have here two right here of swords, which also showed up. So keep seeing the word mirror all week. Yeah, you know, and that's another part of self-love that just came to mind. Thank you for commenting that. So a part of self-love is also practicing like mirror work in a way, if you've never heard of that. It's like kind of like, or mirror gazing, okay? It just happened right on the downbeat on a different song, you know what I mean? Some people may be a little creeped out by doing that. It's like, or weirded out, like, why am I looking at myself in the mirror, just like staring and like meditating and gazing? But at the same time, it's the art of self-love, and know that you have a divine reason and you have been placed and you have chosen to be here before you incarnated here to impact other people and to have a impact in some way, shape, or form. Let's be real. We ain't perfect, so sometimes we've done things and negatively affected other people's lives, but at the same time, I mean, you know, I feel there are soul contracts that have been made before, and yeah, we have the free will, but you know, that's just the pure divine nature of things. So there's backup and contingency plans galore to make sure the job's gonna get done no matter what, and lessons will be learned the way things are meant to be learned. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm trying to read this comment here. Sorry, all the bolds got me tripping on there as I'm trying to multitask, but please feel free to send me stuff in a private message anytime. Tapping into oneself here, okay? But we have this card. I want to go back to this now. I kind of go forgive me, I kind of go side tangents all over the place, you know what I mean? But I'm just kind of going with the flow right now, doing general flow, general reading. This Two of Swords is just further emphasizing this stability and this mastery that I've been talking about here. But to me, this is more of having to exercise an active role and being an active participant in getting things done. Two of Swords equivalent there. I think in the traditional tarot is usually someone with like two swords, kind of meditation and kind of like perhaps knowing like they're going to have to make some hard decisions, or they are actively making some hard decisions right now that are propelling them on their growth. And I feel right now it is a sense to tap into the mastery now, or trying to tap into the mastery of the heart space. Now we have the Page of Hearts, Page of Cups right now, to me, where you're like exploring like I always think of this being like an explorer but someone that has enough knowledge to keep themselves grounded and not get swayed by every little temptation that comes your way. But still, through trial and deception at times, with this being the reverse, to me right now, this is pulling heavy on deceptive energies, especially when we're pairing it with this envy here, right? But like, I feel this is someone that knows that this is part of the process. They've understood at this point that the universe has not gotten them this far for no reason. You know what I mean? That the universe has gotten them this far for a reason. And even as hard as it is sometimes, through heartache or heartbreak or whatever drama situation that may have happened in one's life, that the universe still prompts and still finds ways to allow you to open up your heart still, and to still explore, and to still allow connections into your life that, even if those connections don't last, at least diamond heart is just what came to mind. You know what I mean? Where it's like forging something absolutely beautiful, but you've had to be pressed and pressed and pressed. There is a song, an EDM song called Diamond Heart. Check it out. Not a sponsor, okay? Welcome everybody in the chat. Send me again any personal questions in the comment. I read some of these and I'm still trying to understand the context, but just know this is a general reading, okay? I'm looking at the bottom here of the cartomancy deck now, okay? I've been getting this energy lately a lot. Check out on my channel, and as I'm gradually like releasing all these lives and everything, I did review them, and I take a lot of time and effort, so just be patient with me, collective. I'm a one-man show, you feel me? But we have here, I've been getting this energy a lot lately of someone that is finding themselves completely and just getting on their own zone. You know what I mean? But they are magnetizing opportunities galore and becoming a spectacle. Some ways good, some ways bad. But you know what? This person has learned to embrace both and not care what anybody thinks. And I think that's the ultimate form of authenticity with this Two of Swords. Action, baby. Boom, boom. You know what I mean? And they're just getting things done that they know they need to do, no matter what it takes. Hey, they're not perfect. They may go off beats, pun intended, not, you know, figuratively, literally, see that? And you know, this just came up to me. I think it's symbolic too, as we were reading right here about these decisions here, about seeking guidance. Look right here. This person is beating to their own drum, but they are leaning on certain guidance at the same time. And to me, that's like them tapping into that spiritual realm at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Thank you so much. You're beautiful, collective. I love you so much. If you aren't already subscribed, make sure you are. Okay. Let me see what else here. Let me see if we have any certain, yeah, let me do this one here. This one is a Obsidian Veil Oracle. Not a sponsor. If any of them want to sponsor me, hey, I'm all about it, you feel me? Yeah, do this even more often. Boom. So, exactly. This energy I have here, Medusa. Behind the cursed gaze lies a story of strength, for even in stone, I am unbreakable, baby. Look at that. Boom, that's beautiful, look at that. So, it's someone that's seen a lot of, you know, and seen a lot of stuff. And sometimes they just feel like just, you know, irritated, you know. I mean, look, this picture says it all. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you have been through these trials not for just any reason. I mean, you are literally being forged, because where you are headed, this unbreakable nature here is what's needed. And if you hadn't been through some of the trials, which granted were tough, I'm gonna keep it real with you, it's probably been brutal for you, you know what I mean? And you're right now probably in some certain tiptoe energy, understandably so, you know what I mean, with all these envious energies, you know? And gradually finding who you can trust, but still knowing that you can trust. You can trust yourself, that's for sure. And I know that sounds very like cliche and like, oh, of course I can trust myself. But what I truly mean, if you've taken really the introspective journey, you know that the self goes beyond just yourself, if you know what I'm saying. And I feel that that's what this unbreakable nature here is just tuning into the divine completely, and also practicing an art of surrender, knowing that all of these things are happening for a reason. And you're exactly where you need to be right now. And I think it's always important to note that the fact that you are even aware or actively seeking a course of action is in and of itself a positive step in the direction and manifesting things. So like, you know what I mean? I see it like a lot of these things online and like collective, I'm gonna go off script for a little bit and get some and just say something that to me just kind of baffles me, and just something maybe to bring awareness to, you know what I mean? But like, you see a lot of these people that say like, oh, do X, Y, Z's, do this and this and this, or if you see this by this or whatever, then like this is going to happen. Like the thing is, like, there's no cookie cutter fits all situation, you know what I mean, for everybody. And I feel that sometimes I see these readers like again, hey, to each their own, everybody's got to learn their lesson, but like I feel that sometimes just be mindful of who you're getting your instruction from, even from me, even like just question everything with your own intuition. And I mean that, you know what I mean? Because like, I feel in a world where we don't even know what's real anymore sometimes, like you really know the only way that you can truly like know is through your own divine intuition that's within you. Like that's the ultimate safeguard, and you knowing what's real and authentically for your journey. I don't know if that makes sense. I guess what I'm saying is be wary of all these like people online saying all these things, because I mean there's definitely power in the belief, but if someone's trying to like sell you something, and then that, I don't know, I don't know. But when it comes to like people selling like spells and I don't know, but I just think that sometimes those people don't probably think about certain karmic implications on certain ones I see online of like affecting free will, like that stuff. You don't be doing that kind of stuff, you feel me? Case in point, use your intuition, you know what I mean? And your intuition is going to be your ultimate guide. It's going to be your ultimate GPS compass to navigate you through the world and to help you get on the right path of whatever that is for you. And that's going to be uniquely divine for everybody, as we are all part of the same whole, as I always talk about. Yeah, no, I do put a disclaimer on there as I'm learning, you know, the infrastructure, like the background music is like I have my own prompts and things, and I have the rights to use everything, and you know, that's AI assist generated. I admit that, but I myself am a human, so, but I still have to label altered content on there. So so I had to retroactively, I went back from all my videos. Anyways, thank you so much. You know, I really appreciate you, collective, and make sure you are subscribed if you aren't already. I really have been enjoying coming on live more. It makes the process of the videos a little easier sometimes, I feel. I never plan any of these. I just like always go off rip and see what happens, you know what I mean? I'm grateful to have you here. Thank you so much, Miss Monette. Hopefully I said that right. I'm gonna pull, just because I feel like it, and I'm glad to have you here. I'm gonna pull from the Lilith Queen of the Night Oracle Grimoire to see if Goddess Lilith has any words of wisdom or anything to share for the collective. She's definitely very integral in helping for those that have worked or perhaps have heard anything regarding her, regarding integration of one's shadows and tapping into the ultimate divine femininity. It's like the darker aspects, they say, but everyone has the divine masculine and feminine energies within everybody, you feel me? So Goddess Lilith, is there any energies? Right as I said her name, she pulled a card out here. Let's see what happens. Beautiful. What do you have for us? Emotional balance, Moonstone. 29 could be significant here. Look at that. I use the Moonstone energy to balance my emotions, calming my anxiety. This is a shadow work focused deck, and I think this is again going on the certain shadow of probably the need to always be doing something and not resting. That's just what came to mind. In the bottom of the deck here, Book of Shadows, Secrets. I keep and respect my inner secrets and spiritual discoveries, knowing my path is unique. See that? Oh, your stone is Moonstone. Nice. Wow, look at that. Seems like those divine timing then. With this here that I just read here, just showed up here, knowing my path is unique. But this part specifically where it says secrets, and this is something I feel that I was driving earlier and it just came to me, and now I feel that it's tied to this, and thank you, universe. I keep and respect my inner secrets and spiritual discoveries. So I'm gonna put it up here again for a little bit. But I feel this is kind of probably the hard part for some people, if I had to guess, I don't know if there's any other term for like shadow work or anything like that, because I feel like in like mainstream clickbaity community spirituality, you know what I mean, where people looking, you know what I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, you know, clicks and views is always good, but you know what I mean, when they do it on like intent, I don't know, always matters to me. But the point of what I'm trying to say is that I feel like what gets a lot of people away from doing certain shadow work on their own is that what if in the midst of them opening the books, perhaps they're afraid of what they're potentially going to find. And I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but like I feel that perhaps over time, throughout childhood, adulthood, whatever the case is, we probably accumulate trauma throughout our lives over time that we've had to subconsciously, in many cases, not actively, in some cases actively, repress and put off for later. And they become filling up a book of shadows within ourselves that we need to integrate, and that's still kept on record. Everything's in the Akashic records, but this specifically is regarding you, this incarnation specifically as a soul. So to me, it's like, I think a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their mind around the fact that collective consciousness doesn't only mean you connected with what's considered good, but you also you taking the whole package. You have to accept the whole package as part of you. You can't just take part and deny other parts, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the repressed parts, the parts that the society tells you not to face. But you know, but then they don't say that there are like healthy ways in a lot of ways. I mean, it's getting better, but like healthy ways to like, you know, tackle some of these things, you know what I mean? And the fact is that like everybody came to this earth, no matter what they are now or what they've done or whatever. Everybody's come to this earth here the same way, at least in the material realm. If we're talking about a human DNA, I guess, at least based on the simulation, I guess. But the fact is that again, going to that duality, one existing without the other. And the fact is that denying any parts of the self is potentially denying crucial parts of healing that could be integral to further empathy with others and being able to help others, self-sufficiency. But that's what tackling your shadows fearlessly is what's making you unbreakable. So me saying all this, by the way, is I feel that this collective energy that I just read for here has been doing work, and it's probably just more awareness of just making sure you're balancing rest as part of the equation, because with all this work that has been shown that this person is doing, or at least exercising or actively trying to exercise an increased sense of awareness with emotional balance through self-discovery of one's shadows. I have to remind myself of this for myself also, that the balance of work is rest. Going back to the duality, integrating the light and the dark, the shadows, make one whole again. I think I'm gonna leave it there, collective. I kind of said a whole lot. I don't know how much time has passed, maybe like 30 minutes, who knows. But make sure you have subscribed if you haven't already to the channel, Mystic Wolf Oracle. I'm getting as much content out as possible, but just as we talked about rest, I've been exercising some of that as well. You know what I mean? I think one thing to point out is make sure you're calling your energy back to oneself. Thank you so much as well, collective. You're beautiful, you're lovely. Make sure you're calling back the energy to oneself at the end of the night, because just going to work or going to the grocery store, anywhere you go, you're leaving your energetic imprint out there. So also to the people that you communicated with, you know what I mean, in some way, shape, or form, everything is an energy exchange or an imprint somewhere. So maybe you wake up after sleeping a whole night, you feel drained still. You just slept the whole night, slept 9 hours. You know what I mean? And that's been more than lately, you know what I mean? Maybe you've done that twice in a row. Maybe you've been getting back on track, you feel, but you're still always tired, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's these excess energetic connections surrounding us that is something to be mindful of as we are continuing on our journey, and just being aware of just knowing when to cut back and cut certain connections when needed, and take a break. So I love you so much, Mystic Royal Collective. Please check out the affiliate links if any of that stuff interests you. It does include some of those that I am affiliate of, which I do receive a small commission if you decide to check it out for yourself. And also find me on all platforms. I like to hop to different lives here. I kind of liking the YouTube ones lately. I like the setup here. TikTok, I'll be going on there sometimes. Give some love to my Instagram. So they changed it, so you got to go to 1,000 now. But hey, you do you, baby. Pulling one last card to close things off. Intuition, okay? It's you tuning into that intuition, which we just talked about, which is the divinity within oneself. I open my mind and heart to my intuition, allowing it to be the light that guides my way to your heart. That's beautiful. Tap into that inner divinity, baby. So, like, follow, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk soon, okay? I love you. Stay mystical, and we'll see you soon, okay?